We are having a collaboration with regulators in China, in India, in Brazil and Mexico on creating green bond markets. China have been a leader and we have been supporting a little bit from the backstage. On that occasion, Lawrence was telling me about the Renewable and Water Conservation Fund idea, but that was basically everything. It didn't know much more about what it should look like. And ever since then, we started working on actually creating the framework for what a fund should look like. And back in October last year, we had a board decision that we want to do such a fund. SEB want to do such a fund. However, there's two sides of creating a fund. There's raising money, and there's deploying money, lending out money, investing money. And those two sides means that you need different stakeholders. From our side, we have a lot of experience in raising cash. However, we are not a local in the Himalayan region. We are not Nepal, we're not China, we're not India, we're not Pakistan, we're not Afghanistan, we're not Vietnam. We're not one of those that's actually getting water from the region. And that means a successful fund can only be done in a close collaboration. And I think this forum has been very much about collaboration. From our side, we have ever since October when we took this decision, been working very closely on what needs to be done to make sure that investors in Europe, in the US, can have trust in deploying money in here. And we've gone very, very far. We actually think that we're close to ready to announce that we're ready to go in and do the fund. At the same time, we have the challenge in respect to that we need the close collaboration with local partnerships. So we have a little competition in-house. I think that a fund like a renewable and water conservation fund in the Himalayas can be huge. I think it could be 500 million or $1 billion quite early. Lawrence thinks it could be 250. My colleague Victor thinks it could be 100 million. And the reason for that is that we don't know how many projects we can reach. We need people on the ground who can actually help us to reach the projects so that we are sure that there's presence, there's ownership, and there's consideration about conservation, consideration about how it's impacting the local people, and that there's local ownership in such a fund. So what we are here to announce that is that we have said from our side that we are willing, not only willing, but we are working from our side on raising cash, and we are ready to go in and deploy cash in the next 6 to 9 months, if we can find sufficient work projects. So we're inviting all of you to come back to, Victor is going to be the manager of the fund, to come back to him and create collaborations with him. He can guide you in respect to what is needed from our side to actually go in and collaborate in that side. What is important in this context that is that the Himalayan challenge is not only a Himalayan challenge. This is a global challenge. The water that's supplying 1.3 billion with water is a global challenge. If this doesn't work, it's not going to work for anyone in the world. What we have seen across the world working with green bonds, that is a number of technologies going from California into the Latin America, into the Netherlands, into Africa, which are fantastic. Solutions in Holland, which are basically creating an ecosystem on agriculture water, meaning that you're not using the water, you're just recycling it, you're cleaning it and putting it back into the stuff. If we can capture that knowledge from a global base and put it into the clouds, put it into a library, enabling your farmers to see how this is actually possible, we are helping each other. If we can come here and see what you're doing, we can bring that back to Europe and the US. But one thing that's even more important for bankers like Victor and me, that is that somehow it looks a little bit like that we lost our roots. You probably noticed that there was a smaller scandal back in 2008. And a lot of things is happening in Europe and US right now. We talked about that you're seeing a lot of rich people and a lot of poor peoples, but we're also seeing a lot of people that actually feel that they've been losing their roots or their connection with the system. And I think that what we've been talking about in this symposium is about roots. It's about creating a meaningful society. And from our side, there would be nothing better than if we could reintroduce to our clients in Europe and in the US how a meaningful financial system is looking like. I think that the word inclusive development was used. I would call this inclusive finance. And we're looking very much forward to work together with you. Thank you.